To Kegel or not to Kegel? That is the question. If you have been wondering if Kegel exercises could actually be making your pelvic floor worse, this video is for you. My name is Brittany Cappiello, and I have been a pelvic floor physical therapist for the last 21 years, devoting my entire career to helping women just like you. So, to Kegel or not to Kegel? That's the debate right now. Some PTs and doctors say yes, some PTs and doctors say no. So what is the answer? Well, everybody has their own opinion, and all I can offer you is my own opinion based on my experience, my research, and the courses and training that I have taken. So I would say that it's probably been about 16 years, maybe more, since I have prescribed a Kegel exercise home program for my clients suffering with urinary incontinence or, truthfully, any sort of pelvic floor dysfunction. First, to understand why or why not to Kegel, you have to know what a Kegel is. A Kegel exercise is when your entire bowl of pelvic floor muscles, so when you're looking down into somebody's pelvis, this bowl of muscles that you see, when this entire group of muscles contract and lift up and then relax down, that is a Kegel exercise, okay? To understand if it's right for you or not, you have to understand what those muscles are doing. Now, unless you've had a full internal examination where a physical therapist or a doctor has been able to examine your muscle tone, you may not know exactly whether or not your pelvic floor is tight or weak. But what I will tell you is that probably 95% of the women I work with actually have a tight and weak pelvic floor, not a loose and floppy pelvic floor that needs to be strengthened. This is really key in understanding why Kegel exercises could actually be making you worse or might not be helping at all despite having done them for years. If your pelvic floor muscles are tight, okay, that means they're shortened and they're contracted, okay? So think about your bicep. I always use this muscle as an easy example because we sort of understand strengthening the bicep, right? If you want to get a strong bicep, you grab a dumbbell and you do curls, right? As you curl up, your muscles tighten and shorten. As you curl down, your muscles relax and elongate. As you go back and forth with your arm, they pump up and down, which brings in blood flow and strengthens the muscle. Now, if you're not moving well through your pelvis and that pelvic floor has gotten tight and weak, I want you to imagine your pelvic floor like your bicep in this contracted state, okay? If you're contracted here and I say, well, tighten your bicep more, you'd say, Britt, I'm already doing it. I'm already there. Or if I said, make a fist and now squeeze tighter, squeeze tighter. You can't generate power or strength when you're already living at your end range contracted and tight. That's what we're doing to the pelvic floor when it's already tight. So if your pelvic floor is already tight because it's not getting good blood flow, it's not being strengthened in the ways that it needs to, which is often not Kegel exercises. If it's tight and then you keep saying, well, Kegel, 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 what's happening is that your pelvic floor can't generate any more strength. It actually needs to learn how to relax. And then you can Kegel, or then you can strengthen, or then you can grip to keep anything from leaking out. But if it's only squeezing, it's actually going to get really tired and it's going to actually get weaker. So doing hundreds of Kegels is not going to change this. You actually have to learn how to relax and bring your tone back to neutral. And then from there, you can do strengthening exercises. So if you're somebody who has a really tight pelvic floor, continuing to just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze can actually start to cause pelvic pain. It can cause referred symptoms. It can make your leaking worse because your pelvic floor actually isn't getting any stronger by just staying here and contracting. What your pelvic floor needs is it needs to move in the direction that the muscle fibers run in order to contract and relax, just like a bicep when you're trying to make it strong. Now, in a lot of cases, just doing Kegels for most women won't really do anything. They won't necessarily make it better. They won't make it worse, right? Because we don't first learn to use our pelvic floor by Kegeling. We first learn to use our pelvic floor by moving. Think about your 2- and 3-year-olds who learn to potty train. You don't teach them to Kegel. You don't teach them to squeeze. You don't teach them in their car seat to contract and relax and contract and relax, right? That would be silly. But through running, through moving, through calling, jumping, okay, they learn how to engage their pelvic floor. As grown women, that's what we don't do enough. And so just Kegeling isn't often enough to get you to the place where you need to be. And in some cases, it can actually make your symptoms worsen, either your incontinence symptoms, or it can create other symptoms of pelvic pain, prolapse due to weakening, and even other things such as urgency, frequency, even constipation and bowel issues. So next time you're wondering if you should get up and move, like some of the videos that we teach on our YouTube channel with different exercises, some of my favorites, or if you should be sitting in your car at the red light Kegel exercising, think again. You're better to get up and move when you have a few minutes than you are to sit and squeeze. Hope that helps, and hope to see you checking out some of our YouTube video exercises to find out how you can better strengthen and improve your pelvic floor function without Kegel exercises.